Hey everybody, Patrick Kofi Austin, Social Flyway here. So today we decided we are going to go ahead and make a video with some useful cases because people keep asking me like, you know what, I don't even know how I would even use some of this stuff with using AI. Well, so today I want to kind of break down something that I found that's very useful, especially if you're in the retail, food services type business. And that is creating something that would be like a quick flyer, right? Um, I got into this whole marketing thing because I was into music. I was in a music group. We were in a band or a hip hop group. And the biggest thing we had to learn how to market ourselves. So the first thing we had to figure out was flyers. Good thing is that my producer and partner, he was a graphic designer, right? So he was very good at going ahead and slapping together really good branded materials to make us look fantastic and create it out there. But as we started getting into some other stuff and we started doing some more marketing work, just to kind of get revenue for ourselves and of course for our band and our group, I had to learn how to do this. And it was and I really did enjoy it, and I still am very proficient in Adobe products and so forth and so on. But the average person isn't, right? You know, if you're a small business owner, you know, 2 or 3 person mom and pop shop, you really don't have the opportunity to, you know, spend the time to be able to create stuff. So, of course, out there now you can go find template kits for flyers and things like that are kind of easy to change and for inside of Canva. And Canva has stuff that you can kind of adjust and make your thing. But now with ChatGPT and Gemini, specifically Nano Banana Pro and Nano Banana inside of Gemini, the ability for you to create new cool flyers is very easy. So today I created a GEM, which is similar to a GPT. And what it does is it acts as a role of how you would, when you ask your chat or your Gemini what you want to create, it takes on a role of a personality or a person or a style so that it will make what you're looking to make it for. And that's really has to do with just a lot of prompt engineering and so forth and so on. Instead of just putting the straight prompt in the chat, you create the GEM or the GPT to help you create what you're looking to create. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go into our Gemini. All right, it's here. And here is our one-shot digital flyer generator. And just for reference, we'll go ahead and I'll show you guys kind of what is inside of this and how we created this. So when I had this idea, I said, you know what? I want to act like I'm an elite digital graphic designer. And I want to be able to create flyers that'll work for retail businesses, small businesses, and so forth and so on. And I gave it some very critical roles and critical things to do to make sure that there's a step-by-step process to make it very easy for me and for anyone else using it to do it. So here is our instructions. You are an elite digital graphic designer. Your goal is to help the users create and compile flat digital flyers, JPEGs, containing imagery, style, text, all in one shot. You will guide your user through strict step-by-step intake. Critical rules: you must ask 3 questions sequentially. Ask step 1, wait for the user to reply. Then ask step 2, wait for the reply. Do not generate any images or prompts until step 3 is completely answered. And then so it goes through like a greeting and whatnot, what it does when it opens up. But the first question it has, the first step is, do you have a photo of your main subject, like a food item or a product? If so, please upload it now. If not, just tell me what the item is or just say skip. So if you can just skip through it. Second step, layout and inspiration, excuse me. So if you have some kind of inspiration from a old flyer or you're already branded, like already something that you have branded for your restaurant or your retail store, you can use those assets as an example. Or if you just see some random flyer, that's what we're going to test today, that you can just kind of go in, throw something in there, and it'll use it as inspiration to help you design what you're looking for. And then the third thing is, once those steps are completed, we're going to put in all the information you're going to want. So the headline of the flyer, specific items, the pricings, any call to actions. And you can also upload a handwritten note. Say you're sitting at home and you write something down, you can take a picture of it, throw it in here as well, all your notes, or if you grab something from someone sends you something, especially if you're trying to look at making your process faster. If you are some kind of designer looking to do something different, you can do that as well. And then what it's going to do is crank out a mega prompt for us using all those steps that we can now either take those inside of, um, you know, uh, an outside software. Even if you wanted to take this into Adobe Creative Suite, Illustrator, Photoshop, you can plop this prompt in there and it'll create at least a starting part of those images there. And then you can start redesigning and doing your thing inside of there. But for the average person, they're going to kind of keep it right where it's at, right? You can also take this prompt and you can just leave it right where it's at here into your chat and just hit generate. Now, also, as far outside of, at least for me, outside of Adobe Illustrator, which I do take a lot of image prompts and things like that and go in and redesign them and layer them just for future reference. I also like to use a software called Higgsfield AI, which I'll pretty much show you a little bit of that today too, because it gives you some different options of AI generations depending on different. All right. Well, that's where we're at. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to get right into it. Let's go back to our flyer here. And we have it all set up. And as you can see on the screen here, here's our tools. If you really want to get really into this, you can go into and say create image, and it'll automatically go ahead and put you in image mode. But since we're not doing that, we're going to go ahead and just leave as is. I always like to, depending on your paid program, even on this right now, we're using a general program that's for my regular old Gmail that I've had for I don't know how long. There's nothing upgraded on it. It's not on my business one where I have all the sauce to it. And we're going to just use this one just because this is something that most people always have. I prefer Gemini, but these SIL prompts and even those instructions will work also in ChatGPT. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to thinking model. We're not even going to go all the way to pro. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Let's get started, please. And we're going to talk to our microphone there. It got us going. All right. Welcome. Do you have a photo or main subject of food item? Well, what I was thinking about, because I love food a lot. I was like, you know what? We're going to make some flyers about sliders. All right. We're going to make some flyers about sliders. So what I did is just before we got on, I went and found some pictures of some sliders. So let me go grab the sliders and put them in there. All right. So just so you can kind of see it, look at those sliders. Look at those sliders. They look fire, don't they? They look really good. And here we can maybe mess with some stuff here, but don't those sliders look fire? Yeah, I thought so too. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add that. We're going to hit enter. So it's going to look at our sliders. It's going to go, ooh, nope, it's image. Okay, step 2. Great. I have a photo of some burgers. Do you have a layout of a flyer that you would like for inspiration? And so on this version of it, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna talk it through and just give it a vibe. Okay. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna say to it, let's create something that looks like retro, right? Let's do some retro kind of things. I do not have a flyer or anything for inspiration, but this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I want it to look like retro, old school, maybe mid 50s, early 60s drive-in style type look of a flyer. All right, so we gave it that prompts as a basic idea of something visually of what we were looking for and what we would try to see, right? Okay. You see how easy this step by step has happened? It says perfect. The retro 1950s-60s drive-in vibe is a fantastic choice for a stack of burgers. Step 3, what exactly do you want the flyer to say? That's how you say, well, we want to do something. And the reason why we want to do this is make it easy for people. Say you are the restaurant and you're like, you know what? We're going to run these burger specials. We never run a special. Let's do this real quick. Let's run it tomorrow, or let's run it for a flash deal in between 4 and 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, right? So this is what we would do. So we go in there. If you have that information, we're going to say we're going to run this deal, flash deal, on Tuesdays, $2, 3 sliders for $2. Come pick them up, and we're not going to give it a location, phone number, any of that, and it'll just fill it in for whatever. So let's go here. we would like to create a Tuesday flash deal special for our 3 sliders for $2. And we want maybe a call to action to say, make sure you drive in between 4 and 8 p.m. to get you this deal, only available on Tuesdays. All right, so we put that on there, and let's see what it cranks out. Now, this is the part that's interesting, and it's going to crank out as a prompt. And the way I have this set up normally is I have this set up for it to do Markdown, as you can see. And what Markdown is pretty much a copy and paste type style uh, version to get an output so that you can actually just put it on a notepad or post it directly into a lot of the different types of softwares. So for purposes right now, I'm going to tell it to go ahead and give it to us in regular text. Okay, give it to us in regular text, please. And one other thing, just so you guys know, especially either on your phone, even on your phone or on your computer, I always suggest that you prompt by talking to your AI because it is a language learning model, not a text typing learning model. So if you speak to it, you're going to get probably better results because you're actually going to be able to describe what you really want from your voice. A lot of times better than people can type it like they're, write it like they're an author. Okay. All right. All right. So here's our prompt: a detailed flat digital flyer, JPEG format with a distinct 1950s, 60s dive-in diner aesthetic. The entire compositions feature a tower stack of caramelized onions, cheese sliders seen in the image, and it gives us the whole breakdown. It's going to be teal, cherry, red, cream, ooh, and white. Stylized checkerboard framing the entire flyer. Classic drive-in elements like neon sign graphics, chrome accents, stylized retro fonts are prominent. At the top, a bold vintage style script headline saying, Tuesday drive-in special, deal special. Below is the star graphic. Look at this. This sounds fantastic off the jump. Now, like I said, you can take this and put this into any other software you like. If you want to put this in Adobe Creative Cloud, Illustrator, Photoshop, you can go right in the side there and lay out the size you want, put this in there, and it would generate it as well. There, at least you can make edits and audit and make edits and things like that and rasterize everything so that you can make the changes, which is kind of cool. Or as we're going to do right now, at least for this one, we're just going to generate it right here inside of Gemini. All right, we're just going to tell it to generate. Gemini, go ahead and generate it. And there it goes. That is not too bad of a flyer, right? Now we didn't even give it a format vertical or horizontal, but doesn't that look pretty cool? That is a pretty cool outcome, right? And very quick and very easy. And the biggest thing, like I said, is of creating these GEMs is really for it to have some idea of how to structure what you're looking for and walk you through directions on how to go ahead and create what you want to do. And we'll get into gems a lot more on some other content and really kind of some useful case for gems and GPTs, even as you're designing them, especially if we start talking about education and things like that. But with this right here, look at that. Spread it out perfect. It looks fantastic. Now, let's say you have it and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and see if it'll crank us out something else. Let's try this. Hey Gemini, go ahead and create us a futuristic drive-in flyer and give us the prompt details for something that would look similar but look like a futuristic one from 2067. All right. So now the one other thing I would say is when you guys are talking to it and you're asking it for prompts and you're wanting to do stuff and you're doing it yourself, to create something like an image, make sure you say you want a prompt description of the image. So this way it gives you kind of what it's already going to tell you, what it's going to look like or what it feels like it should or could look like. So you have the opportunity to be able to edit it if you would like to. Because if you don't, it'll just keep making pictures and keep making pictures. And then it also starts to hallucinate the more and more and more you do that. And it throws everything off. So if you ask for specific description, it will give you a prompt description. Just like see how it just came out right there, right? Absolutely. It sounds like an exciting project here you have to complete. Detailed prompts, and it's talking to me about Drive-In 2026, and it decided to give me the 2067 futuristic Drive-In slider flyer prompt. And then then it cranked it out. So, but at least now you have a description for later down the road here where you can, if you want to keep on going, it'll create it again. So this is the second version of what it made. And it has a bunch of crazy Teslas, right? Has a bunch of crazy Teslas, which is kind of insane, but kind of cool, right? Tesla. Yeah, I can't knock the man to get his money. So that is our prompt generator and the basic way to do it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create another one. And this time, what we're going to do is we actually are going to go ahead and use a inspirational piece. Okay. All right. So here we go. So we're going to go in here. We're going to start our new one. We're going to say we're going to go ahead and go to thinking as well. All right. Let's make a flyer. GEM. All right. All right. So there it goes. All right. Do we have a food item? Yes, we are going to use our food item again. We're going to go ahead and pop in, pop in our burger. All right. And do we have inspiration? Okay. So this time, what we're going to do is we actually going to do an inspiration. And so one of the things I kind of found is I went on, and I was like, oh, like Envato, a lot of those places, those are places where people can find templates that a lot of people use, especially if you're looking to do something fast and do something very efficient without, paying a lot of money to do a custom design. But there's a lot of graphics out there. So what we went and did is we just searched Google and said, hey, let's just find a picture of a flyer for a burger flyer. So we found a general burger flyer, and we're going to pop the flyer in there. And this is kind of just what it looks like and kind of had, what it had in there, right? So we were like, let's just pop that in there and see. So we're going to use that as our first inspiration, but we got another crazy one. All right. And then so we're going to hit enter, and it's going to read it. And it's going to know it's there. All right. Yes, we would like to have our headline. We want to pretty much make a flyer for a special, a Tuesday special flash deal that's only good between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Tuesdays, where we have three sliders for $2 and only available at the restaurant. That's what we want the information on the flyer to be, and also say, make sure you stop in and get yours today. All right. You see how easy that font was? So that prompt was, we'll pop it in there. Since it has some guidelines on where it's working for, because you're going step by step, you're adding the image, you're adding inspiration, it gives you a little bit more control over what some of the output could be, because now you're adding those parameters for the GEM to actually grab knowledge from, to work down the process of creating something for you. All right. And so here we go. Here it is, the final synthesis. This is the deal. And as once again here, it's in our markdown formation. We're going to go ahead and ask it to give us this in regular text. Go ahead and give this in regular text, please. And so then it'll go ahead and regenerate this in regular text. All right. And then here's our mega prompts. Look at that flat background. And as you can see, now that it has some scaling on it, the mega prompt gives us the base idea of what the flyer is. It's breaking it down in sections. So the top section has dark background, bottom section has orange, red, call to action, footer. And you see that when you actually use something as an example, it can scan the example and give a base layout of kind of where it could be and where you would like how to use it. And normally, like I said, we personally would take this into Hicksfield AI. That'll be another video. But for now, we're going to just go ahead and tell them to generate it. So we're just going to actually type it in. We'll type generate, and let's see what it cranks out. All right, it's formulating. It's thinking. It's almost there. Let's see what it makes. Hopefully, it's cool. And there you go. All right, see, look at that. And that kind of came out not too bad, right? As it used as a background thing, and it pretty much used a very similar design. Took the image that we had, recreated it, put some flying back. There's 2, 3 sliders. Instead, it says 2 to 3 sliders, because I didn't say it correctly, but it's there. Now, the cool thing also about this there is I can go and tell it and correct it just by speaking to it. Let's recreate, and we want it to say 3 sliders for $2, not 2 to 3 sliders for $2. Very quick. Give it a quick prompt. And the beauty of normally, especially inside of the Gemini Nano Banana model, it usually is very good with text, and you don't have to do a lot. Now, if you want to get detailed, you can really start getting extremely detailed inside of your flyer fonts, your positioning of where you want stuff, how many pixels you want around the outside. If you want to leave space in the top left corner, leave 30 pixels of space so that you can put a logo in the corner. You can describe a lot of different things to make these flyers if you want to get into more detail. And I've started crafting a new gem that would for a higher usage type of flyer that people can use, and we will be putting that out. And this prompt will be this GEM prompt information will be attached to this video, so you guys can definitely download that. So look at that. There it goes. Now it goes. So corrected it. 3 sliders for $2, and bam, and then there you go. What a great picture. Very fast. And, this took me way more time than it normally would because I'm talking with you. But once again, very simple, very easy. Now, let's do one more just for giggles, just to show you because I've done this several times. Where we're going to do one that's just going to be very outlandish and you're going to be like, your inspiration's coming from almost anything to make this flyer. All right. So let's go. We're going to go back to thinking again. Gemini, let's make a flyer. We're going to grab our burger. Add our burger. And it's going to ask for inspiration. And so this time, what we did, just because this is very outlandish, we went and found a software ad that is more so like a drawn infographic, right? Just to see what we're going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to see what's happening. But just as this just tells you kind of the possibilities that could be done and why this is super cool. All right, so we're gonna pop that in there. Like, we'll show you guys. Did it go away? It went away. Okay, we're gonna pop it in there again. Hit the exit button. All right, I did. All right, so here we go. This is actually what we popped in here. We just pulled this off the internet from stock photos, something. It's just whatever, and it has all the extra stuff in there because so it is what it is. But this is kind of what we're looking at, right? Very, very random. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just hit that now. So then now that's our inspiration. It's literally software development kind of text flyer thing, right? Pretty ridiculous. Okay. All right. So then now we're gonna put in what we're gonna say. We want to create a flyer for a Tuesday special for these burgers. We want the special pricing to be 3 sliders for $2, only available between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., on Tuesdays. And the call to action, make sure you rush in and get your burgers today. All right. All right. So that's what we got. We give it the prompt. And just to kind of show you, as I've played with this before, how kind of amazing this situation, amazing AI is, where it can take maybe something like this and turn it into, software ad or software flyer and turn it into a burger flyer is pretty amazing. So once again, it showed it in Markdown. So we're going to tell it to give us the Markdown in regular text. Now you see how much harder. I'm not a fast typer, and maybe that's the thing. When I just speak to it, I just kind of flows better in it, and it makes all the process faster. All right, and then here's our mega prompt. A professional flat digital flyer for a restaurant promotion following a clean, modern layout. Inspired by structural corporate flyer layout with white background, vibrant accent shapes, circles, graphics, frames featuring high-quality close-up photos, a stack of gourmet sliders with melted Swiss cheese, caramelized onions. Around the central burger image are minimal food-related icons like a small grill or a spatula and a clean line art style. So, clean palette, very cool. Breaks down the typography, breaks down the whole composite of the layout based on the flyer we did. We're going to tell it to generate it. So, all right, generate flyer. All right, and here we go. I've generated our flyer. The visual layout and content direction looks futuristic. However, I noticed a slightly quirk in the main headline where the letters to you and AL appear in the phrase, please check the grammar first. All right, well, then there it goes. And then that's based off of that ad, it made this, right? So you can see you can get inspiration from anything if you decide you want to do it. You can take a picture of anything and you decide you want to do it and have inspiration for it and create whatever you want out of it. Now, these are been made and that's just kind of, something that could be done. And just for, general purposes, if you were to say, want to do this really quick, um, like you want, like, any way you want to do it at your job, just make sure you have your logo files, things like that, in PNG format on your phone. So then now you can download this to your phone, put your logo where you want to, put your branding onto it wherever you want um, to make it finalized if you want to add that. One reason why we don't do that inside of Gemini, because once again, as you can see, Gemini does not, and ChatGPT and pretty much all of the softwares, unless you have a specialized software, especially with logos, it uses logos as a reference point, not as an actual piece, artifact, or element inside of the design. And that means if you put it in there, it can change your logo and change how it looks. And then that's why also when you see, if you're throwing stuff in for inspiration, it doesn't do a carbon copy. AI won't carbon copy. And also we added it inside of our GEM for it not to create a carbon copy of anything that's out there. So that's one of the reasons why you see that. And also why I say if you have logos or branding or anything like that, that's stuff that you might want to just add at the end. So keep those files on your phone or your tablet or your computer if you're doing this on your computer, where you can add those later. All right. So that's our little tutorial on our GEM. Like I said, there will be a information below on the GEM instructions and GPT instructions below. You're going to be able to find this whole scenario and a breakdown of this article in a little bit more detail on our Substack, and we will have the GEM instructions there as well. So please go follow our Substack. If you're watching this video on YouTube, or if you're watching this, please like, share, subscribe. If you're seeing this on video on Facebook or somewhere else, hopefully you're following our page, or go to our YouTube and go join us, like, share, subscribe. And we're going to have a lot more of cool little tips and tricks and little fun. I'm doing some actual creating here all the time. All right. Patrick Kofi Austin with Social Flyway here. Hey, I'm going to tell you one more time. Stop. It's time to start orchestrating growth. Catch you on the flip. One.